My friends, we're taking a trip in a time machine. That's right. I played Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl for the very first time, and it is not what I expected it was going to be, not even close. I had some preconceived notions on what this game was going to be like, but I have no context on it. I've never watched a video on it or played it before. It came out in 2007, the same year as Halo 3, Mass Effect, BioShock, and Modern Warfare. Come on, you really think I had the time to play it? It just flew under the radar for me. And I'm sure that's probably true for a lot of people, but with Stalker 2 right around the corner, hearing the harrowing story of the developers and what it took to bring this game to life, I had to give it a shot because I think it's going to be a really important end to the year, and I want to be there for all of it. This video is my first impressions. It's me recording my thoughts and experiences stepping into the zone for the first time. And man, this game flipped me on my head. I'll be honest with you. This is probably one of the most immersive and engaging experiences I've had playing a game in a long time. And the crazy thing is it's from 2007. And it's janky. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. It definitely has some of that old school jank, but it's so damn good. And I can't wait to share that experience with you guys. But before that, today's sponsor, your mom. I'm sorry, actually. She's probably a lovely lady. It's not her. Have you ever watched your favorite anime and wish you could dive into the action yourself? Well, Ash Echoes Global is here to pull you into something big. Imagine a world where entire realities collide, a metaverse where people only known as Echomancers are fighting on the front lines, wielding elemental abilities to protect the last remnants of humanity. This is Ash Echoes Global, a fresh anime-inspired real-time tactical RPG that just released for PC and mobile. You're here to defend Senlo, a city in the midst of a calamity. Mysterious crystals started appearing, and those affected by their energy have awakened to incredible powers. You'll step into the role of the commander, recruiting a team of Echomancers, each fully voice-acted with their own unique and detailed art styles. But these Echomancers are more than just cool designs. They bring specific roles like tank, healer, and DPS, meaning you really get to strategize your team's balance for any challenge. Ash Echoes Global is a unique real-time tactics RPG that fuses tower defense, grid-based strategy, elemental reactions, and stunning character designs for a one-of-a-kind experience. This game is perfectly optimized for PC. Character abilities have beautiful cutscenes, and there's this deep, engaging story at the heart of all of it. You'll discover hidden lore, face off against epic bosses, take on the game's roguelike mode, Echoing Nexus, and find rewards in almost everything you do. Ash Echoes Global is available now. Don't miss out on this one. Just click the link in the description below. Jump into Ash Echoes Global and see if you're ready to master the elements in Senlo. Stalker is a series that I've always seen in the corner of my eye. It's just kind of hidden just outside of sight. It's a game that got away from me because, well, I'm weird. When I see a game that comes out that gets multiple expansions or sequels, I feel like it's too much for me to get into, and I avoid it. I've done the same thing with the Metro series, regardless of how many times people have suggested it to me, because I feel like I'm missing out on some of the earlier experiences, and it's a lot to ask to go back and play through that many games, especially with how old some of them are. I had the same worry when I decided to go back and play Stalker. Games have improved a lot since 2007. Systems and quality of life are in place that we don't even take notice of, and most times we take for granted because it's become so normalized. Stalker, as an example, only autosaves when you move from section of the map to another instance. So it only happens between load screens. I cannot tell you guys how many times I died with over an hour or more of exploration in one area just to find myself back at Cedar. As an outsider, I assumed that Stalker would play something like Fallout. And while there are some similarities, there are some really big key differences here. You are not the main character. You are not a hero. You are just a man, a stalker, someone who survived a truck carrying bodies being struck by lightning, and now you're in the zone, and all I know is that I need to find and kill Strelok, whoever that is. The only allies I have are the people who are doing the same, surviving or trying to profit off of me and the zone. This world hates me. It's so bizarre and hostile. Everywhere I go, I have no idea if I'm going to be met with friend, foe, or horrific monstrosity that wants to attack me on sight. The hostile atmosphere, the brutal gameplay of Stalker, it's all forcing me to play with a vigilance that I rarely experience in modern games. Every step into the unknown feels tense. I'm constantly scanning for threats, whether it's a bandit that's hidden in the bushes or a mutant creature lurking in the shadows. Unlike more forgiving games, there are no indicators telling me or giving me any warnings that an enemy is around the corner unless I'm actively being attacked. there is this lack of handholding that makes every single encounter feel like a real test of survival. Every encounter in the early game, and actually throughout the entire experience I've had so far, is meaningful. And it feels like my pistol is shooting rubber bullets. This world is just so threatening. I have to rely on my instincts, my ability to gauge distance, and maintain a keen awareness of my surroundings. Otherwise, I'm going to step into an anomaly and explode or be struck by lightning. In most games, I wouldn't think twice about walking down an abandoned road, but here, every path feels like a calculated risk. I'm always calculating my resources. Should I even try to explore this area? Should I expend the few remaining bullets or healing items that I have to fight a group of enemies or try to sneak around them? This constant balancing act, driven by scarcity and the harshness of the zone, pulls me deeper and deeper into the experience. In Stalker, I'm not some powerful protagonist that's omnipresent, tearing through enemies with ease. I am a vulnerable scavenger, surviving by the skin of my teeth. And every time I make it back to a safe zone, every time I survive another hostile encounter, I feel that much more invested. This game doesn't reward me with cutscenes or lavish praise. It rewards me with the simple satisfaction of just making it out alive. And in a world like this, that's more than enough. This game almost immediately taught me that I am absolutely nobody, which is just such a foreign experience for many of the games that I've played over the last few years, because there's just so many conveniences in play, so many time savers and things like that, and none of that really exists in this game. I mean, that first quest that I got where I need to go find Nimble, the first group of bandits that I found, I killed like 3 of them and then immediately died. Sent right back to C.A.L.K.E.R. I realized that there was no autosave, and I still made the same mistake 3 more times. 3 more times, because I am so programmed from modern gaming conveniences that I wouldn't remember to save when I got to the gate of the area where he was being held. You know, the thing is that like we have some games that are out there that are kind of like that. You have like Elden Ring, but even with Elden Ring, you have bonfires and autosaves, and you can always go get your progress back by just going and picking up your souls, but you don't have that in a game like this. And I think that there is some charm in that early 2000s charm, because things like that really didn't exist in every single game back then. And nowadays, if something like that happened to somebody where they lost all of that progress, they would just turn the game off, walk away, and be pissed off about it, because, you know, that's just a lot to lose. And nobody really likes to be inconvenienced when they're trying to enjoy something. But in this game, it really raises the stakes. It makes it feel like every single encounter matters, because they do. Because at the very beginning, at least for me, maybe I don't know what I'm doing right now, which is most likely probably true, but every single engagement is meaningful. Like, I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I have to balance my health supplies or healing supplies and things like that, my ammo. I have to really be very careful with my aiming and things like that. And the crazy thing is, too, is that the enemies have aim. If an enemy shoots you in your head, you're smoked. And I can't tell you how many times I had walked into like a group of bandits, killed like 7 or 8 of them. There was like 1 left. I didn't even hear him coming. He comes around the corner, or I turn a corner more times than not. They spook me and they shoot me right between the eyes, and that's it. And then I'm right back to where I started again. And it puts you on edge, but it puts you on edge in a good way. You want to overcome it. And when you're in the moment, in that challenge, because you don't want to lose any of that progress, you just don't want to let go. You don't want to come out of it. This is one of the first games in a while that I haven't had something on my second monitor while I was playing a game. And this one, I have to everything turned off. I don't want any sounds in my house or anything like that. You know, it's weird with how much I've been dying in this game, and it happens quite frequently because things will just kind of happen. You'd think that I would be frustrated by the lack of convenience, but every single time it happens, I'm laughing. I'm enjoying myself. I'm so engaged in the game. And I think the reason why is because of the game's atmosphere. It's the game's world that draws me into it, and I just can't get enough. With so many modern gaming conveniences and narrative delivery, world building, sound design, and fidelity, it is mind-blowing how a game in 2007, working with so little, could accomplish so much to engage and immerse you in its world. I think there's something in that, the simplicity of it. There's no need to shock and awe you with the common flair that we see in modern games today, because it didn't exist back then. They had to work with what they had, and what they had was definitely enough. The game setting, this post-apocalyptic Chernobyl exclusion zone, serves as this haunting backdrop, desolate landscapes and abandoned structures, evoking this eerie desolation, immersing me in a world that feels both real and otherworldly. The environment isn't just a backdrop, but it's a living entity that is reacting to my actions as well as the actions of that world. If I'm attacked by a pack of dogs, if I kill one, the rest of them are going to run away. They're barking and growling, echoing in the background, even though they're no longer in sight, letting me know that that threat still looms if the opportunity arises. The sound design in this game plays a critical role in building this atmosphere. Ambient noises such as distant howls of a mutant creature, the random yowling of a cat, the exchange of foreign language and shouting, the rustling of leaves, gunfire, the music, and the unsettling silence in deserted areas. All of these combined with different melodies and things like that that are just contributing to this persistent sense of unease. It's all a deliberate choice in sound direction that ensures that I always feel on edge. I'm alert of unseen dangers that lurk around every single corner, and I can't tell you how many times I have to double check every single room in an abandoned building, how often I use binoculars to scope out a location before entering, or how sound sometimes will completely drive me away from a location, afraid I'm going to encounter something that I can't overcome. What's crazy is playing this game and exploring the zone feels like a philosophical journey into the unknown. The allure of forbidden territories combined with the thrill of uncovering hidden secrets, it mirrors this innate curiosity and desire we have to push boundaries. There's something in that, exploring the forbidden, a place that you know you are not supposed to be. I was a latchkey kid, son to a single mother. My brother most times was usually distracted working on something or whatever he was doing, and I would slip out of the house. I used to go and explore the woods just about a mile away from my house and use a creek to be able to guide my way back home. I would explore further and further each time. Eventually abandoning the creek altogether, excited by the loss of direction, I just kept pushing further. I was afraid that I would never find my way back home, but it never stopped me from wanting to continue to explore. As I grew older, I did the same thing with abandoned factories, power plants, and buildings. That thrill of exploring the forbidden is alive in Stalker. That constant interplay between excitement and danger that keeps me engaged, and I have to weigh the potential rewards of exploration against the ever-present risks of the unknown. Stalker offers this immersive experience that challenges me to confront the unknown, balance my curiosity with caution, and survive a world where danger is omnipresent. I mean, it's literally everywhere, and honestly, you never know where it's going to appear. This atmospheric design combined with the philosophical undertones of exploration and survival, these are things that their developers have talked about many times before. It creates this compelling world that you can't help but want to explore. You have to look around. You want to know what's out there. It's hard to create a feeling like that. I've really only experienced something similar to it in Elden Ring, where you can look out in the distance and see something that you want to explore. And while there are some games that offer deep exploration, there is something in that sense of danger that makes this all the more engaging and rewarding. You know, with this game's sound design, it's weird to say, but it's created one of these insanely immersive experiences that I wasn't really expecting from it. And I'm not going to say that there's not any jank. I've got hit with explosively loud, unbalanced cricket audio out of nowhere. I don't know how many times, but with the way that this game builds its world, I'm on edge at every given moment. And this is one of the first times in a very, very long time that I've been genuinely jump scared by a video game while I'm playing it. The last time that I can remember doing something like that is Dead Space, the original, way back in the day. You know, the hallway scene? That one, where you just try to laugh the danger away. I'm not scared. I think this kind of immersion is completely lost on modern games. I'll be honest with you. I think that the tech and the tropes have completely overshadowed authenticity, and it's fading as a result of that. This is something that I've only ever gotten from maybe indie games over the last few years. If there was a game that I would have to say Stalker reminds me of the most, it's actually Subnautica. It's that level of exploration and atmosphere where you can't help but feel like you want to push further and look for more and find other things and learn new things and whatnot like that, even though the game's telling you in most cases not to go any further than where you are, but you can't help it. The game is begging you. It feels like it's dragging you off into the distance, off into the dark. And you just don't see that in a lot of games anymore. And it's so refreshing to have an experience like this, especially from a game that I wasn't expecting to get it from in the first place. And for that alone, I recommend this game to everybody that's out there. And if Stalker 2 even gets close to this, oh my God. Game Awards, they're already over. It's done. Simple as that. I don't think that any of this could be possible if it wasn't for the fact that everything else in the game seems to support that. The game's mechanics, the narrative, the world building, the equipment and systems and all that stuff, it all works harmoniously with the atmosphere and the themes of the game to create this experience where you just can't help but keep playing. The narrative doesn't spoon-feed me information. As I said before, I'm just a stalker in the zone, a mysterious, irradiated wasteland where the main objective is simple yet haunting: find and kill somebody named Straylock. The lack of direction makes me feel lost. It drives me to explore, to listen to the snippets of information from other stalkers and piece together the story in a way that actually feels authentic. There's something about this indirect storytelling that makes it feel more immersive. Like I'm not being told a story, I'm discovering it. I'm putting it all together myself. By wandering through the zone, I discover small details, clues, and hints about the world and its past, which paints a more vivid picture than any cutscene could, and I think it's a more personal experience, and it's one that I definitely appreciate. The game's mechanics all build upon this sense of survival and immersion. Every single bullet counts in Stalker, and I quickly learned to think twice about engaging enemies unless it was absolutely necessary. I can't tell you guys how many times I've walked around just looting enemies, picking up their weapons, unloading the ammunition from the weapon itself, as well as picking up whatever scraps they have, because ammunition is scarce, weapons degrade, health doesn't recover automatically, and medkits aren't lying around every single corner. This all makes resource management essential to my survival in this land. All these limitations turn every single encounter into a gamble because most times you have no idea how many enemies there actually are or what kind of enemies there actually are. Should I engage this group of bandits because I think I'm going to be able to find better equipment, or try to sneak past them and conserve some of my resources? Even if I do choose to fight, I can't afford to be reckless. The gunplay in this game is incredibly unforgiving, with a major emphasis on precision and realism. I need to take cover. I have to aim carefully. I have to think tactically. Or in my case, I just throw a ton of grenades at a problem and hope it goes away. I just love that the mechanics serve a purpose beyond just making the game difficult. They make me feel vulnerable. It's reinforcing this sense that the zone itself is a threat. So there are these things called anomalies, and they're all over the zone. This is another stroke of genius. Not only are they a game mechanic, but it adds to the overall atmosphere and tension while you're exploring. They are these pockets of distorted reality where physics go haywire and the air crackles with unseen energy, lightning ready to strike. They are as mesmerizing as they are deadly. Anomalies are traps that are laid by the zone itself. I have to approach these things with caution, or throw a bolt at it, I guess. But it's a simple mechanic. It heightens my awareness to an incredible level, making me pay close attention to my surroundings at all times while I'm in combat. The last thing that I want to do is back up into an anomaly and then wind back up at the start screen. There is this simple gameplay loop, this constant rhythm of venturing out, scavenging, fighting, and retreating back to a safe zone. Each expedition into the zone feels like its own story. I set out with a vague plan, but everything changes once I encounter an unexpected group of enemies, anomalies, or even other stalkers. Maybe I stumble upon a hidden stash in the remains of a building, or maybe I find myself suddenly ambushed by mutants in an abandoned warehouse. Each time I come back from the zone, I feel this sense of relief and accomplishment, like I took another step forward. Sometimes I'll just hang out by the campfire, try to disconnect for a moment, and listen to a guy play guitar. Now, I really don't know too much about the game's narrative. I haven't gotten far enough to really fully understand it, but I'm really loving just piecing it together myself. It's obvious that the government doesn't want what's in the zone to find its way out. There are people that are here looking for riches, power, escape, or just trying to get by. It's obvious that there was some type of scientific institute that was doing some experiments, and then some type of event happened, and now the zone is what it is. It has this odd sense of fantasy clashing with reality, and I can only imagine that hubris was at the center of it. All I know is I just want to keep playing this game. I want to keep exploring. I want to keep piecing the story together. The zone calls to me. There is this indescribable allure here. Each venture out into the unknown feels like it's pulling layers back on a mystery that I'm not meant to fully understand, and that just makes me want to dig deeper into the game. The world doesn't give up its secrets easily, and every step that I take feels like I'm edging closer to some forbidden truth. Stalker has rekindled a rare sense of wonder and danger that so many games lack today. You just don't see it. I don't feel like I'm on some heroic quest. I feel like a wanderer that is surviving by grit and caution, inching forward in a place that would rather see me dead. The game is challenging, frustrating, haunting, and yet I just cannot stop playing it. The zone is both punishing and captivating. And every time I survive its horrors, I feel like I'm a little bit more connected to this hostile yet beautiful place. Now, I don't want to oversell the game or anything like that. It is janky as all hell. I cannot tell you guys how many times enemies have like phased through walls and doors, or loot has fallen through floors. Oh, that's probably the worst ones. Random audio bugs and things like that. I've been playing the game completely unmodded. You can call me a masochist if you want, but I try to play games completely blind. I try to play them without any context, and I try to play them, as close to their original state as I possibly can. Barring if it doesn't actually work on the computer and I actually have to use something else. And if you're somebody that has tolerance for older games and Eurojank, you'll love this game. It's such a unique and distinct experience. It's such a special game. The only experience that I think ever even comes close to this is maybe like Half-Life or something like that. And even then, I don't think that's a really good example or comparison to make. I don't think I've ever played a game like this before. It's so special. That's it. It's just special. And believe me, I know everybody's telling me, go play Gamma, go play this, go play that. I will eventually go play the modded versions. But the reason why I got into it is because I saw Stalker's coming out soon. I watched the documentary. I've seen the interviews with the developers. It's a harrowing experience that they've been going through. We have a lot of developers that want to talk about how special their games are and how special their message is, but very few games do we see developed in an active war zone. And this game is very near and dear to their heart, right? This is about their home. Even though it's, sci-fi and all that, like, this is still Chernobyl. This is still Ukraine. And it's a special game for them, and I think it's going to be a special game to end out the year. And I think in a lot of cases, after playing the first game, if Stalker 2 revitalizes or brings back any of that original DNA with how gorgeous Stalker 2 looks, it's likely going to knock a lot of people on the floor. It's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. And I'm hoping it does, because I want to play more Stalker. To be honest with you, chances are what's probably going to end up happening is I'll finish this one, and then I'll go to play the other ones as well, and I'll end up playing the mods, and then I'll play Stalker 2. Well, I'll probably play Stalker 2 before I do anything else. I'll play this, get through it, and then I'll play Stalker 2. I probably won't make another video on Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. If I do, it might be something later on where it's actually like a combination of all the experiences I have throughout the games, so some of the older ones. But I do plan on making separate content specifically for Stalker 2. I'm very excited for it. I didn't realize the game was that much up my alley. It is way up there. I am kind of addicted. I'm going to be honest with you. I have other videos, other games, and things like that I'm supposed to be working on. And here I am right now going like, yep, the minute that this video stops, I'm going to go right back into the zone. So anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and I always really love doing these first impression videos and things like that. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to share it with your friends, like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below. Let me know, what you guys think about the game. Are you guys looking forward to Stalker 2 or anything like that? Outside of that, my friends, stay cool, stay righteous, cheeky breaky, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Family, 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 family.
Jump into Ash Echoes Global and see if you're ready to master the elements in Senlo.